our manual that we have for hurricanes for the last 3 years, and we thought we should kind of minimize the number of pages that are included in that manual to make it easier for you to follow. And as part of our preparation plan, we also put a small presentation of what the expectation should be from you of what we are going to do while we are taking care of you if we have a very heavy storm or a hurricane. All right, so that's what we're going to do for the next hour. Would you like to start? So we have a comprehensive emergency plan, and it's designed to protect the safety of our current 301 residents living currently at La Posada. This plan was reviewed by all the operations team. We sent it to Brad, and it's made out of 7 or 8 pages, and it's going to be available for you this afternoon. We're putting them in your copies. The presentation that you're going to see today is a summary of this. This is very in detail. The presentation is a summary. However, if you have any questions today, after we do the presentations, or after you read all of this, you can reach out to any of the operations managers, and they should be able to answer any of those questions that you might have. What's a hurricane? A hurricane is a tropical storm that exceeds winds of 75 miles per hour. And they're divided in 5 categories. Category 1 goes from 74 to 95 miles an hour. Category 2, 96 to 110. Category 3, winds between 111 to 129. Category 4, winds between 130 to 156 miles per hour. And last, the worst, the one that creates the most destruction, is Category 5, which has winds between 157 and above. Next, worst hurricanes in Florida in the last 50 years. In 1965, Hurricane Betsy was a Category 3, and the total damages were $1.42 billion. In 1992, we had Hurricane Andrew. Hurricane Andrew was a Category 5, and the damage altogether was $27.31 billion. And last, in 2017, we had Hurricane Irma, was a Category 4, and the total damages came out to $50 billion. What is the worst part of the hurricane? The hurricanes can be broken down in 4 quadrants. And while all the quadrants can be dangerous, the worst is the top right. And what is the top right, the most dangerous? This is because of the rotation of the storms. And that is where the higher winds and the higher rainfall happens. Right here is where the strength of the storm happens. Next, where are we located when it comes to an evacuation zone? You see, it's a little bit hard to tell the colors, but you could. You got the orange, the yellow, the green, and the purple. La Posada, it's located in the purple area. What that means? That means we are in Category 5 or Zone E. We are one of the last ones that will have to evacuate in case of a hurricane. So that's a good thing. How to be prepared for this hurricane season? The first thing is going to be, if you don't mind, trying to read this hurricane guide. It's going to give you good inside information of each department and what are they doing during a hurricane, before the hurricane, during the hurricane, and after the hurricane. So it's very good. Assemble a hurricane emergency kit. Later on, you're going to see a small presentation about what we mean and what's included and what we believe is your basic hurricane kit. Talk to your family. Talk to friends. If you have somebody that during a strong storm, you would rather go with them and stay with them because they are not an evacuation zone and you're going to be with somebody at all times. Have those plans. Make them in advance. Don't wait for the last minute. If you have a pet, we are a pet-friendly community. If you have a pet, make sure that you should do kind of the same thing. If you have a family member, during the storm it's hard, it's going to be hard for you to walk outside and take your dog for a pee, because it's going to be raining and wet. So it might be a good idea that you'll make arrangements for somebody else to take care of a pet during the storm. And stay informed. If, hopefully, we do not lose power, if that is the case, then Rick and the team will be communicating with you daily, in the morning, in the afternoon, and our first choice is probably going to be the Touchtown app that we have on your phone. We will use the Call Them All as well. But if you have not installed that app in your phone, please, in the next 2-3 weeks, see the wellness team or the operations team will be happy to help you installing that app in your phone. Next, what is the emergency kit? Drinking water. The recommendation is 1 gallon per day per person for at least 3 days. So you should have the equivalent of 3 gallons of water at home. Non-perishable food. We have some snacks. We have some tuna or chicken, something that you can open that doesn't need to be refrigerated and you can eat. Some peanut butter, some bread, all of those items that don't need refrigeration in case we lose power. So very important. A battery operating radio, if you can get one. Medication supplies for 5 to 7 days, just because we might not be able to get out on the road to go pick up your medication because the roads might be blocked with debris, with branches from trees. So we might not be able, even if we want to pick up something at CVS, we might not be able to. So it is extremely important that you supply yourself with at least a week worth of medications. Important documentation, your insurance, your Medicare card, your dance card, anything that you have, try to have a little folder. What we recommend is to have something like this that you can grab and go. If God forbid and you need to do something, you're not going to be looking at 3 different places for all that important information. Have one piece of equipment with all that information is included. An up-to-date vial of life. For the residents that don't know what that is this little container that is on your freezer, and it has a piece of paper that has your basic information. And how do we use that? Whenever we call an emergency or 911, they go to these first to see what kind of medication you're on, what kind of allergies that you have. That way they can start taking care of you right away without them having to try to contact your family or your doctor. This is your medical history, so it's very, very important. A portable cell phone charger. We have, they sell now this, where, I think it was somewhere, those pieces, I know it's somewhere. Is this in Marisol? Okay, this is a cell phone charger, so in case you lose power, this will charge your phone if you pre-charge it. So have something like this available for you. Make sure you also buy batteries and flashlights, alarms like this. This one is very useful because the only thing you have to do is lift it up and it lights up the entire room. All of those things we just purchased last week from Amazon, very easy, and they come to your house. And of course, toilet paper and paper towels, have them ready just in case, God forbid, people can start buying them and then you might not be able to have it handy. So this is a little emergency kit that we put together for you. Next. Now let's say we are in constant communication. You know that the news are going to have those every day, every 10 minutes you're going to be inundated with the news of what is happening. What we're asking you is to please stay informed with us and follow our Touchtown and the Call Them All. If you are planning to leave the community, if you're going with a family, please make sure you complete the profile form. We're going to put that form in your emergency plan that you're going to see. We need to know where you are. If we don't know where you are, we're going to be sending somebody to knock on your door, and we can save that time for that associate to go and take care of another resident that might need help. So please make sure that you help us by completing the form in case you are leaving the community. Make sure your kit is ready, the medications, and the pet. Now we are 72 hours. All of those should be in place already. Next. During the storm, please stay inside of your apartment. Hopefully we have not lost power, so you can call us. Make sure that you check your phone for touch-tone communications. We haven't lost power, so we can continue doing call them all. Keep your front door secure, and have towels. Have enough towels sometimes to go around your windows and your door, because sometimes the water is so strong, the winds are so strong that that's where the water comes from. And make sure that nothing that is valuable for you is close to the windows. I'm not saying that nothing is going to completely blow the window, but it might be a little late, and it is something that is important for you. It might get wet, so be prepared with those. If the electricity goes out, use the flashlight. Stay away from windows and sliding glass doors. Don't get close to that. Keep your cell phone fully charged. If you have power, make sure your phone is charging at all times, because the moment that we lose power, that's when you're going to use whatever is left on your phone, and when that goes off, this is your backup. So this might give you maybe 2 days worth of battery on your phone. So make sure you're always charging that phone on the wall. And in case of emergency, and we have not lost the power, you can pull the cord or push the button like you do in Mallorca if you need help, because we will receive the signal in our computers and we will be there to take care of you. What happens if we lose power? That is the most popular question in a hurricane. And luckily, the way La Posada is located demographically, we are considered part of the hospital grid, the Gardens Hospital. And you might wonder, why is that important? Well, it is important because in case of an emergency like this, FPL will dispatch all those trucks to fix the power towers to the most important grids, and the hospital is one of them. So we are on the same grid. Because of that, they will dispatch trucks to us immediately. If we lose power, all the apartments in Seville and Valencia and the clubhouse will not have power. The health center, based on the mandatory ordinance 2 years ago, had to acquire a full power generator. So the health center, assisted living, and the memory care on all floors, elevators, kitchens, and rooms will have power. Mallorca was built back in 2018, and at that time we acquired a generator that it allows Mallorca to power the elevators, the kitchen in Mallorca, and the hallways in Mallorca, but just the emergency lights. And what that means is 1 of 3 lights will be on. So if you're coming out of your apartment in Mallorca, you will easily be able to walk the hallways and go to the elevator, but it's not full power. So that's it. The apartments in Mallorca will not have power. The elevators will. One thing that we're going to ask you is, if you're in Seville and Valencia and you need to come down, you're going to have to call us. We're going to have to figure out a way to communicate with you. We will actually physically be taking you from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor. Hopefully we don't have to go that route, but that is the route that we will take. And we have the equipment to do so. I believe 5 years ago, it was us, or Brad and Rick, carrying a resident in the wheelchair. I think there's better ways we have figured out since then and purchased a couple of things. But if that is necessary, we will. What else? If we lose power, now we don't have power. If you press a button anywhere in the community, Seville, Valencia, and Mallorca, we will not receive the signal, because none of the computers at the front desk will have power to receive the signal. So what do? During a hurricane, no matter what, twice a day, all of us are going to be knocking on everybody's door and checking on you. And Yolanda will be talking. You'll talk when it's your turn, so don't worry about it. You'll talk when it's your turn. Yolanda will be talking about these red tags that you can put in the apartments. And it will mean that you need help. Next. Is that a pet?
Yes.
Okay, so now perfectly, we're going to talk about pets. So we You know that we are a pet-friendly community, and now we have more and more residents that have pets. I'm a pet lover, so I really don't mind, but they are a lot of work. And so please make sure that, first of all, if you could, send it with a family member. Don't go through the hassle. It's very hard to take care of a pet during a storm. But if you must, make sure that you have medications for the pet. Make sure you have food for the pet, because you're not going to be able to step out to go to Publix or any pet store to get anything for your pet. Just be ready. Next. All right, so I thought as part of this meeting that we're going to have today, I would invite a resident who actually went through Hurricane Andrew and had experienced a good experience and a not so good experience. And he very briefly is going to share some of that with you today. However, the reason for this presentation, I want you, once you see at the end of the presentation, I want you to know that no matter how windy it is, how much it rains, how bad it is, we're going to be here. When we ask our associates to volunteer, you will be so impressed on how many want to be here and take care of you. We say we're going to sleep here, and we're going to deliver the food for you. The chefs will cook. We're going to be able to deliver a warm meal to you, and we're just going to do our best. It won't be as fancy as on a regular basis, but you will have a meal, and we will check on you at least twice a day. That's the bottom line. So you could worry, but just a little bit, because we will do all the worrying and we will do all the hard work. With that said, let me introduce you to the resident who's going to talk a little bit about the hurricane experience that he had during Hurricane Andrew. Please help me introduce Mr. Ranke. You're welcome. Do you want me to hold it for you?
Thank you. What a turnout. Great turnout. Okay, that's me. I've been here at La Posada since September 24th, 2021. As you all know, Paulina asked me to share my experience. My wife and I are survivors of Hurricane Andrew. 30 years ago, this August. We were, too bad, Rick, you don't have that one slide up that shows the eye wall. We were in a 180-mile-an-hour eye wall. Our house was at. We were 10 miles north of Homestead Air Force Base. Our home suffered significant damage. When I walked out that morning, it looked like a bomb went off in our neighborhood. We had vegetation around, crown of thorns around the foundation. If you know what a crown of thorn vegetation is, it was gone. Everything was gone. I would not let my wife go out for 2 days. It looked so horrible. It took us 14 months to rebuild, sold it in 10 days, and moved north to DeQuesta. Thought we'd get out of the area. We stayed in our house the whole time the hurricane was blowing. In the west side of our house, in the guest bedroom, between a bedroom and a closet. Spent some time in the closet. Our whole neighborhood really bonded after the storm. What do I mean by that? We're all working, we're going, hi, bye, hello, on the weekends. But after the storm, we bonded. We really got together. By that I mean, after the storm, we helped each other remove debris. We patched up things. We listened to what the FEMA said about putting our debris outside by the curb, and they would come along and pick up all the stuff that you had spent days piling up on it. Well, when a man from Atlanta came, FEMA, he had a rod. He put that rod down by the curb and into your yard. Anything past that rod stayed there. They would not pick it up until later. I've never seen my wife get so angry. She was not happy about that. We had no power for 6 weeks. FDNL sent us an estimated bill for the power of the month of August. I took 2 shiny brass pennies, taped it on, sent it back to them. I don't think they ever did that again, I don't know. We were fortunate, our son had connections with his Naval Academy associates in Melbourne. He picked us up a generator. And I can tell you which generators are the noisiest ones. We shut them down at nighttime because we needed peace and quiet. The women in the neighborhood would get all together and decided what food was needed to be used up. Because remember, you're only powering during the daytime, and there's food in the refrigerator that you need to get to use up. So we'd have a big potluck supper every night outside. The neighbor to the east of us, his house was a mess. But my son climbed up the pole and found a telephone connection. And guess what? It was his phone. So in our neighborhood, we used that phone. I put a yellow pad on a chair by the phone. If you made a long distance call, you wrote it down, and we settled up with John. John never asked for a cent. Everybody worked together. Our daughter's wedding was scheduled for December 2nd at the Church of St. Andrews. Interesting. Contractor got the screen enclosure up so we could host her wedding activities in our house. Now, here at La Posada, with what we saw, I feel safe, especially being on the second floor, listening to other residents about their experience here after hurricane threats and what La Posada has done to protect us is a plus. This experience going through this hurricane taught me patience, resilience, working together. If you're dealt a lemon, you make lemonade. I don't know if anybody else had an experience.
I wanted to say something, if I may. I was asked recently, what about our furniture on the patio and the balcony? And I assured people, or the one who asked me, that La Posada's maintenance crew would help us bring it in, and that we would need to have some kind of sheet or towel in our apartment in which we could put it on top of, you know, so that.
Sure.
And also that if you have a car, you should have the tank filled and a battery charger in there for your phone.
Yes.
Sure, yes, I agree. We're not done with the presentation. There's a couple more things that we're going to show you. So now each manager is going to talk a little bit about their particular department. The first one that we have. All right, so there's a little presentation on our emergency kit.
So what do you need for your hurricane kit? Update your vial of life, make sure that it's in the freezer. If you need a new form, see the front desk, they can give one to you. Have all important paperwork in a file that you can grab and go easily. Paper products, important, make sure you have paper towel and toilet paper. Flashlight, make sure you have one. It could be a flashlight or a lantern like this. And the corresponding batteries, make sure you have enough batteries for your electronics. Also have a portable battery to charge your cell phone. For food, non-perishable foods like non-refrigerated juice like this, peanut butter, jelly, bread, canned tuna or canned chicken, any snacks that you like to have, a 3-day supply of water, which is 1 gallon per person per day, so 3 gallons would be enough. And the most important thing, have some wine. And if you haven't had tickets for that, Tylenol.
So you heard Marisol, the most important thing, the wine. And if you have too much wine, Tylenol. Emergency kit. Thanks, Marisol. All right, this is a message from our chef from the kitchen. Who is going to prepare my meals? barely hear because the kitchen in Mallorca, that's the kitchen in Mallorca, is very loud. But what he is saying, in case of a hurricane, we are here for you. Chef Clay, we have a working with electricity kitchen, so he will be able to prepare a meal. It's probably not going to look like the menu that you're used to. It's probably going to be 1 or 2 items a day. And then Ryan and his team are going to pull the master commercial grill that we have, and we'll be grilling on this side for you. So either way, between the two kitchens, we will take care of your meals. Next. Who is going to deliver my meals? Pay attention.
That during a hurricane, before, during, or after, don't worry about getting your meals delivered. We'll do it for you, especially if it's raining.
So, as you can see, we don't mind getting wet. We have the ponchos ready. We will deliver your meals. It might take us a little bit if the wind is very strong, but we will. Now Miss D asked us about the patio furniture. What are we going to do?
Hey, I'll put that for you, young man. Let me help you out.
Thank you.
Grab your door. I'll get this up and try for you.
That's the question about your furniture. All right, now how do we get help? Yoli, would you like to, I would like for you to go and really explain how this works to the residents. Let's watch the video first and then we'll let Yoli talk about it.
Hello, security. Need help?
Okay, as you can see, we had a lovely resident that helped us with this video. And you're gonna be handed these type of tags. We like to do it like just before the hurricane hits, so you don't lose them. And a great suggestion is to put it in the door handle inside your apartment. As you saw Ms. Beers, she went to the door and her tag was already there inside. So that way, if she needed help, she just have to go to the door, take it out and put it outside. The reason for this is, if we go out of power and you don't have the personal help button or the alarm buttons in your apartment, at least if you're capable of, hopefully that will be the case, and you need help, you put this outside the door and we will know that you need help. However, like Paulina said, we are going to go and check on you at least twice a day. What that means, I know that not everybody signed up for the 10 o'clock check-in, but in case of a hurricane, when we know that if you need help, you might not be able to communicate with us, around that time, 10 o'clock, our crew on the staff that are going to be here on site, because we will stay here, we're going to go door by door to make sure you're fine. So we're going to give you the good morning to each one of you. Every day we don't have power to make sure that you are fine. If you do not answer, we have to open the door to make sure that we see you. That is one of the most important things, that if you are not going to be here, that you're going to go with your family members, that you let us know and you fill out the absence report form, so that way we know you're not here, so we don't have to go and check on you. And that time, we take it to go to someone else. We say twice, but during the day, we are going to be having associates delivering meals. We're gonna have security, of course, not during the storm, after the storm. We're gonna have associates delivering meals. We're gonna have associates walking the hallways for one reason or another, like security, checking. And when they see one of these, they know that someone needs help. At the end of the day, probably like 6 o'clock, we're gonna go and check again everybody's apartment to make sure that you're gonna be fine. Any questions?
I got it.
If you're not going to be in your apartment, shouldn't you have something on the door that says, I'm okay, I'm someplace else?
Well, if you're not gonna be here, that's the reason we ask. When you're leaving, you let us know at the front desk. There's a form every time you're going on vacation, every time you're gonna be out of the community. You let the front desk know, and we will have that list, knowing who's not there at your apartment, so we could skip that apartment and go to the next one. But you brought us something very important. If you're not gonna be in your apartment, it will be nice that, and when I say this is sometimes you go to another apartment because you're gonna be with your friend. You're not leaving the community, but you're gonna be in someone else's apartment. That would be great if you just leave us know. I'm not in 3216, I am in 444, 4410, whatever the case might be. It is good for us to let us know.
On the door or in a fill out a form?
You'll fill out a form when you're going out of the community, that you're gonna go with your friends. But if you're just gonna visit another resident, you could just leave a note at the door, I'm gonna be in another apartment just visiting.
Yeah, if you're visiting, it's not that big of a deal because you're here on property. If you're gonna be gone or you're staying with that person on property, let us know that. That way we know you're both together in that unit.
I'm concerned about the patio. Are you taking the furniture inside to stop it from getting wet or to stop it from flying around?
Both. Both. So before, one of the things in the manual that you're gonna be getting, there is a form that we're gonna ask you to fill out. So we know different things. If you're gonna be here, if you're gonna go with family, if you need help about taking the furniture indoors. They might be residents that they could do it themselves, but we prefer that we do it so we will help you and that way you don't get hurt. So when you notify us at the front desk, David's team will go apartment by apartment to bring the furniture inside. And if you don't have carpet, we'll make sure that it goes to a place that is not going to ruin your furniture. But if you have carpet, we provide something that you will be put in the floor so your carpet doesn't get ruined.
Yeah, you're gonna, in this manual, the last page of the manual has this form that says, in case of a hurricane, my plans are. The first question, I'm planning to stay on La Posada, yes or no? Second, I'm planning to evacuate with family or friends, yes or no? If La Posada is required to evacuate to another location, I would like to evacuate, yes or no? I have a private aide, and I made arrangements for her or him to be here with me during the storm or come with me if I evacuate, yes or no? I have a pet, and I made plans on how to take care of the pet during the storm, yes or no? And the last one is, I will need help bringing my patio furniture, yes or no? Once you complete this, we will know who is doing what, and we will be able to take a better care of you. Yes?
David, could you explain a little bit more about the furniture?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, yes, we do have some plastic if you don't have enough coverage for your floor. I know some of the rugs in your units are a little higher quality. Like any of that furniture, we could get moved in for you. Any help, we're there to assist you. Make it a lot easier for you, okay?
One help that I can ask you is, if you could move the small staff by yourself, that would be great, because once again, I know I'm gonna have a lot of associates volunteer, but still gonna be limited. So those associates are gonna be moving the larger staff, the big chairs. So if you have little decorations that you can take care of yourself, that will be extremely helpful for the environmental department.
When you talk about can you hear me? When you talk about the hurricane, we're talking mainly, it seems like, wind and rain. However, I've lived with it and I experienced that even at lower levels, tornado damage, which is very serious.
Mm-hmm.
And is any preparation to make people here aware of what to do if there is a tornado warning?
Well, I believe we have gone through a couple already, and the building, this building was built in 2004, has solid, strong, and thankfully never had any issue. So you should feel very comfortable to be inside of your apartment.
Yeah, anytime there's the risk of a tornado, we'll know about it because the weather reports come through, weather van radios, those things. So you want to stay away from windows, right? Because what happens is mostly damage, something flies in, breaks the glass, right? So you want to take an interior room that isn't around windows, a bathroom. I think Mr. Ranke mentioned that's where they hid in the closet, right? So out and away from an open area where there's big windows. And some of your bedrooms have giant floor to ceiling windows, so that's not a room you'd want to be in. Probably close the closets or close the doors and go into the bathroom where there's not a window. So that's what you always want to do in the event. Also, in case something does get broken, whether it be as a result of a tornado or a hurricane damage, that we're also here for that. We keep a lot of plywood on hand, and so we'll have sheets of that, and if a big window were broken, we're able to seal that, we'll go there, when we can carry, of course, the plywood through the weather and get it to your window and put it up. But we have a lot of that, sandbags, all of those things we carry on hand.
There's another question, I think, over there. You have another question, Mrs. Russell? We'll go back to you. We'll go back to you.
Also, outside the front door, along the walkways, we have planters and many other things which should be moved in.
All of that will be moved in within the 72-hour preparation, once we know.
A lot of things we strap down though, wherever we can strap it, like our furniture, if you remember, you've been here through a bunch of storms, we'll take the tables, lay them up against the railing, and we zip tie those things. We also lock in and tie in a lot of those big heavy planters, just so they don't move around. And so a lot of that stuff that can easily be strapped somewhere safely, we'll do that as well.
You mentioned that Valencia and Seville were on the power grid with the hospital. It wasn't that way in
It's only
prior
Valencia.
years.
Valencia.
It's only Valencia?
It's only Valencia.
It's just Valencia.
Valencia and Valencia.
However, if the FPL is going to come to fix the power, do you think they're going to say, no, I'm not going to fix that other one, they're going to be here? The bottom line is we are in the hospital grid and they will come or troubleshoot us before they will troubleshoot probably the neighborhood behind us. We are a priority. Any other questions?
No.
Yes, we have one in the back. Do you have one here?
I just wanted to make a couple comments. I've been in the area for many, many years, and I've been through like 5 or 6 of them. When I say I've been through them, I've been here when they, come close. And I think probably the most, and I just want to say, I think you're doing a fantastic job with the presentation on this. I think the most important thing, I think, is water, have lots of water. And for me, the worst part was the electricity. Electricity is out forever, and I've had to clean out many a refrigerator. So make sure that you don't have a whole lot of perishable things, I guess, in the refrigerator. But it really, it's bad, and I know you need to be prepared, but it's, I just don't think, everybody should not be really, oh my gosh, there's one coming. Because I don't think we have ever had a direct hit here, but one just north of here.
Correct.
I've
You
stayed,
never know, however, we're gonna be here for you, you're not alone. That's what I want you to make sure that you are very well known, that we're here for you. We're gonna do all that hard stuff, you're gonna receive a meal.
and I feel I feel safe here, I feel safer here. I was on US 1 at a marina.
Definitely, then US
Yeah,
one.
that was really,
Yeah, we're very far from US one, so yes.
Yeah, but anyhow, I just wanted to make those couple of comments.
Thank you. I think that we have a question. You're going, Yogi?
So you can flush your toilet.
I understand that our glass is, I understand that the glass in the buildings is rated to a certain speed of wind. And also, I'll let you mention that, and also boil your eggs.
Boil your eggs.
Let me answer that question first. I believe the glass is 101. Yep, 101 miles per hour. You got it?
I can't remember seeing on your list of things to have on hand, a hand-operated can opener.
Oh, yes, true. Yes, because you cannot open the cans if you don't have the can opener, unless you buy the ones with a lid, but they're sometimes a little bit hard to open. Thank you. Good suggestion. Yes, anybody else?
What about water for the toilets?
Yes, but we have never had a loss of power. Even we losing power, the worst that has happened is we have lost power for, I think, 4 days.
That's what the lake's for.
Yeah, so we have never had an issue of not having enough water or pressure in the water when we have lost the power. True, we have the pool as well. That is correct. Coming.
I need instruction on how to detach an outdoor ice maker because I did not know what to do. The ice was stored in it and all my floors had to be replaced.
Sure. Dave?
I think we did that last week. I think we updated everybody's.
Hold on, you want to remove the mask?
Yes, that's a good question. I believe we did that last year. We dumped everybody's ice out before. So, because once the refrigerators go out, everything's gonna start melting, so. That's a good question. Yeah.
Do we have one more slide?
Yours.
Okay. All right, this is me finishing the presentation. No? Yes? Oh.
So the clarification of the question was, is there going to be help with removing the ice in your fridge or removing the ice tray? So David's answer was yes, so that if power goes out, the ice in your fridge won't start melting.
Oh, okay. They couldn't hear it. Right. Got it.
Thank you, residents of Caldesada, for allowing us to show you what are we going to do in case of an emergency. We are going to take care of you. We're going to provide meals. We are going to help you move in the furniture. Somehow I'm feeling some winds coming strong from the west. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish this presentation. It's getting very strong. I don't know what I'm going to do.
But the bottom line, as you can see, we had a blast trying to put this together for you because we're going to be here. Between the operations meeting, some of us will be here the first part of the storm when it's happening, and the other half will come after the storm to relieve the first group. We will take care of the deliveries, we will take care of the meals. If we forgot a piece of furniture as in the patio, we will go and get it for you. Any questions that you might have between now and next week, please let us know so we can make it a couple updates of that manual. Otherwise, you will have a copy of that in your copies this afternoon. Thank you for coming, and thank you, Mr. Rankin.
It costs a lot of money, but that's all we can do, right? It's the best way to spend the money. You have a good time with that? I've got some bugs.